everyone and welcome along to W3L Wrestling Showdown. Thank you as always for joining me here this week. Thank you for hitting the subscribe button as well. And if you have hit the subscribe button, I'm sure by now you've been notified that our Remedy event that we gave to you for free has gone online. I'm sure you've watched it and hopefully you have enjoyed it as well. Now if you have watched Remedy, then you all know there was a very controversial end to the Tag Team Championship match. Jason Reed and Kevin Williams have been delayed in getting their hands on those Tag Team Championships again. But of course, their anger and annoyance at the Contingency Plan still looms large. And so because of that, we're going to be seeing Jason Reed taking on Contingency Plan member Dickie Divers one-on-one in this week's match. Obviously tensions and emotions are running high, so let's not delay any further. Let's immediately head to ringside as Jason Reed takes on Dickie Divers.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, this match is a singles contest. Introducing your first participant, coming to us from Glasgow, and weighing in 205 pounds, Dickie Divers. And introducing his opponent, he is from River Island, and weighing in 210 pounds, Jason Reed.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe Fordyce with you on Wrestling Showdown singles competition this week, featuring two men that are sometimes known for their tag team exploits. Of course, Dickie Divers off the Contingency Plan, and Jason Reed, who regularly teams up with Kevin Williams. These two men, of course, absolutely no strangers to each other whatsoever. They've fought in singles matches before, they've fought in tag team matches before, and they have generally been battling over the Tag Team Championship. It's a rivalry that's been running for a good year, or it's a couple of years really since Jason Reed debuted here on Wrestling Showdown. Of course, Kevin Williams hand-picked him as his partner to get a shot at the tag titles. And Reed, as you can hear, is clearly the more popular of the two people. Divers had enough, saying he's going away. And backstage, and he wandered off. Now the referee's entirely within his rights to issue a 10 count. Divers always has to get back in the ring in that time, else he will be counted out. There's no championship on the line this week, unlike when these two last met. Hang on, there he is again, up on the stage. Again, Divers is stalling here, dictating the pace, making Reed wait for him, making the crowd wait for him. And he gets in and out the ring, and that of course breaks the count. And the referee has to start again for one. So it gives you that extra bit of time on the floor. And I'm sure you've seen Dickie Divers wrestle before. We don't feel like this is not cowardice or any worry about his opponent. He is a very versatile and talented wrestler. He just does it because he can. It's a good strategy for him to stall, to delay, to perhaps throw his opponent off whatever they may be planning on doing, to annoy them, make them get so frustrated waiting for him that they make a mistake. But Jason Reed, despite the experience deficit that he has compared to Dickie Divers, is content to wait, and again that's partly because they've wrestled each other umpteen times before. Jason Reed preparing this was easy. I'm not sure the whole match is going to be like that, because again, if you've seen Divers before, as I assume you have, you'll know just what he is capable of doing. You see he's complaining that his hair was pulled. As I mentioned, these two men last met for the Tag Team Championship. It was at Remedy, which of course you can see for free on the W3L network. And it was during that match, and a night of controversial endings. This was very controversial. Divers, if you've not seen the Remedy match, then apologies about the spoiler for you, but Divers threw a chair to Jason Reed and just lay down. And the referee, Kieran Swinney, ironically the referee for this match, turned round, saw Jason Reed with a chair, and in his addled state, because he had been knocked down at this point, ruled that Reed had hit Divers with a chair and disqualified him. Now the footage shows clearly Divers was never hit with a chair. Reed and Rollins obviously have complained to W3L management. A ruling is going to be forthcoming on that. I'm sure there's a rematch in the offing. However, Reed was not happy, so of course he demanded some revenge, if you like. And of course he's got it in the form of a singles contest. So there's no championships on the line as now Divers pulls the hair, but it will give Reed a modicum of satisfaction, I'm sure, if he can put Divers away. But saying and doing are two completely different things. And flips on the apron and greets Divers with that forearm. And it actually goes to show, for a man that's only been around since the June of 2015, that's when Jason Reed made his debut, the composure this man's got. And again, a lot of that comes from the team with Kevin Williams, a decade-long veteran that is. So he hits a draw kick. But a lot of people would have got annoyed and steamed straight to Divers to get the revenge on him for what happened, but Reed's very composed. I think his actions belie his inexperience at times. As Dickie Divers tastes the top turnbuckle pad, I'm sure that's not pleasant. And Divers flying out the corner there. Reed good for the cover. He only nets him two. So I mean, other people in his position would have steamed in, would have battered Divers from pillar to post, but Reed hasn't. He's been very cautious. He knows he'll get his revenge. He knows, and Divers, the referee being distracted, so Divers swings a leg up and kicks Jason Reed right in the extremities, and that'll change the tide in any match. Divers in for the cover. Doesn't put a lot of weight in the shoulders though, and so Divers resorting to cheating to get the advantage here, just as I suppose we always knew he would. And now chokes Jason Reed on the middle rope. And here he tells the referee he will do what he wants. And of course Divers to happily take a disqualification loss, I am sure. Again, no titles on the line here. As he crushes Jason Reed in that middle rope. And these ropes in W3L are really tight as well. There's not a lot given them. You notice as guys move around in, they don't really sag or bounce around too much. There's a lot of tension on those ropes. There'll be more tension in Jason Reed's back tomorrow morning after he crashes heavily at the turnbuckle pads there. As I'm sure you know, these pads are really more of a cover than anything else. There's a solid metal hook behind them. If you hit them with some force, as Jason Reed did, you actually can feel the hook dig into your back. Divers slingshot in that rolling senton just belies his aerial ability. He doesn't show it a lot, but he can fly with the best of them. See Reed firing back, but gets caught by Divers. Just puts a boot right in the midsection. Concentrating his attack on the spine, the back of Jason Reed yet again by getting him in that surfboard. And these two men, because they know each other so well, because they wrestle so often in different types of match with different tag team partners and singles and types of just a two for Divers there. It makes it hard at times. When you're so familiar with somebody, you have to break something new out to try and get them with. But it does mean that you kind of know what they're going to do. As Divers drops it across the spine of Jason Reed. So both men being quite methodical in this match. Just perhaps waiting for the other to make a mistake. And certainly it took Divers cheating earlier on to get the advantage here for Jason Reed. The referee being distracted again by Divers, who drops a knee. Jason Reed's voice going to be 3 octaves higher now. And that was the closest one yet. Divers even complaining it was a 3. Jason Reed's getting to perhaps the end of his reserves here, because it took him longer to kick out than he has before. The Divers clamps on that sleeper hold, just to further wear down Jason Reed to cut off the flow of blood to the brain via the carotid artery. But Reed still fighting back, creates some distance, and gets caught in the sleeper again. And he's dropped to a knee almost immediately. Reed may be using the last vestiges of his energy here. And he's sunk to the canvas. There's a judgment call on the referee's part. He could rule it that Reed is out. But he's going to check the arm. If it falls 3 times, this match will be over in the favour of Dickie Divers. That's 2. And oh, hang on, there's still fight left in him yet. Jason Reed fighting to his feet. And a victory for him would surely add more weight to his claim that he and Williams deserve a tag team title rematch. I'm sure a victory for Divers will be all the contingency plan need to try and shove Reed and Williams further down the contenders list. And Reed comes in, but Divers so fresh compared to Reed and just boots him squarely in the face. And he was kind of unsteady on his feet as well when he stumbled up the corner there. Divers just backs up Jason Reed and hits the uppercut. And luckily those ropes are there, because otherwise I don't think Jason would still be standing. But he moves out of the way and comes back with some forearms of his own. He's gained a second one from somewhere and cuts Divers off at the pass of that clothesline, make it 2. And Dickie Divers, the match has suddenly changed the tide. It's going completely in the opposite direction the way he had it going. Reed in for a cover. Of course, you don't get paid by the hour, and your performance isn't enough to get that winner's bonus. You have to score the victory, and Reed knew that. And how better to gain some revenge over Divers than a clean pin. Of course, again, easier said than done. Reed stamping his foot, the setup for the Netflix chiller. But Divers blocks it, hooks him. Went for a German suplex. Reed with the victory roll. He's got him up, but a bit too close to the ropes. I think Divers kicking out. Wasn't the smoothest victory roll ever. There's a Netflix chiller. Doesn't enjoy a bit of Netflix and chill, does Jason Reed. Perhaps I'll be after this match. And he crawls over to Divers, who grabs the ropes, and he was slow in getting across there, which didn't really help his cause. And also the positioning of Divers, well, good for him, was bad for Reed. He could have moved him out the way, but it just stalled him even further. Judgment call at times, this one didn't pay off. Reed trying to feed off this audience, as he's been successful doing, as Divers drop kicks the knee out from under him. And Divers just changing the tide off the match, something he's so good at. You can never count Dickie Divers out. And we've seen that he's willing to stick his nose in the people's business, because we saw what happened at the end of Nathan Ellison's Blondie Barrett here not that long ago in Wrestling Showdown. And Divers trying to get the figure 4 on, but Reed trying to fight out of it, trying to kick his legs away. Referee Kieran Swinney right in position, and Divers grabbing the ropes for an added assist, because when he pulls at them it adds extra torque on the legs of Jason Reed. But the referee can't look at Divers pulling the ropes while he's checking on Jason Reed, and he's looking for a verbal submission, perhaps a tap. He's caught him now though. Of course the referee had to check, because if Reed's shoulders hit the canvas, that's technically a pinfall attempt. And the referee being pushed around by Divers. They have no love lost between them, as Swinney shoves Divers in the roll up. This could be it, but just nets him a 2. Swinney's not forgotten how Divers nearly kicked his head off back at Remedy. Hang on, up he goes, Calvin recliner. Jason Reed drops down Dickie Divers with the Calvin recliner, and he scores the pinfall victory. So Jason Reed scores some revenge over the Contingency Plan in the singles contest here this week on Wrestling Showdown.
A big victory there for Jason Reed over Dickie Divers, and you can bet that Reed and Kevin Williams are going to be angling for a tag team title match as soon as possible. But speaking of Dickie Divers, last week here in Wrestling Showdown, you will have seen him interfere at the end of the Blondie Barrett versus Nathan Reynolds heavyweight title match. What exactly were Divers' motives? Nobody seems to be sure. Has he left the Contingency Plan? Has Barrett joined the Contingency Plan? What I can tell you is that Reynolds and Mike Musso have demanded a tag team match to take on Barrett and Divers, and I can reveal that it will be happening here on Showdown in the next few weeks, so make sure you have hit the subscribe button. But of course, watching this tag team match when it finally occurs, well, it'll be great. Nothing beats seeing W3L live and in person, and if you're at our last set of live events, then you'll know that for a fact. Well, I can reveal to you, we have 2 more live events on the horizon. Oh yeah, so prepare yourselves, because on Friday, March 31st, we return to Gala Shields, and the following day, which is Saturday, the 1st of April, we are in Edinburgh at the Southside Community Centre. That is our next 2 live events, Gala Shields and Edinburgh. Tickets for them are available from our website, W3LWrestling.com. You can, of course, use the word Showdown as a coupon code, and you can have yourself 20% off them as well, so that's not so bad. When you're there, make sure, of course, you have given us a like on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter as well. Use the hashtag W3L Wrestling Showdown. You're going to get notified as soon as something happens on W3L if you're following us on Twitter. If you have subscribed to this channel as well. And then make sure you're back here in 7 days' time, as I shall bring you even more fantastic Wrestling Showdown.